Southwest Florida. Welcome back to Lead Pitch Live here at the Dunbar Community School. And boy, do we have an education show today. We just talked education. We're going to talk education there. And then in the next part of the show, we'll get to talk crystal education in the Stars Complex. We got some fabulous ladies here. Ladies, let me welcome you to the show. Teana and Jessica. Good to get both of you here. You can talk. Say glad to be here.
It's good to be here.
All right. See, say it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, so it looks like we got some international flavor here based on the accents. Is Lead Pitch Live international or what? We got Australia, and I think you said Jamaica.
Yes.
International show, people. The world is changing. Ladies, I've said it and I've said it and I've said it over and over again that you guys at the Children's Network and the people who partner with you in adopting children and foster parents, transitional and all these types of things, you guys have the most important job in the community, and I love doing these types of shows. So keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, let's start off with you over there, Jessica. You have adopted 5 children.
Yes, I have.
Now, when you first started the adoption process, did you know that you would eventually go to 5, or you said, I'll take one and then just kept happening? Tell us about that.
No, we started with 1, and we had, well, my husband and I were married for 10 years, wanted kids right away, and 10 years later we adopted our first child. And then we thought 1 is great, let's try 2, and 2 is awesome. And then we thought, let's be crazy and adopt 3 at one time. So we did.
Isn't that beautiful? Tell us about how that has changed your life and how supportive your husband is in the process.
Oh gosh, my husband is a gem of a human being. Anything that anybody sees good in our family, it's because of my husband. He's a rock. He's actually has all the children out in the van playing around right now.
I want to rephrase that too. I said how supportive your husband is in the process, as though you're the one who's adopting and he's helping you out. Gotcha. It's a family thing, so I know better than that. I apologize for that. Tell us about how you go about your job as an adoption specialist, Teana.
So basically, I get majority of the calls of the families who are interested in applying to adopt. And so then I refer them to the 1-855 number, 1-855-933-5437. They can call that number if they're interested in adopting. And so once they call, they have to get registered into the pre-service training. And they have this 10-week class that they have to go through. And once that's completed, they get assigned an adoption case manager who will start gathering the information to complete their adoption home study. And once that's completed, then they're having a home study in order to be matched with children who are available for adoption.
Tell us what's going on out there right now, because we know November is Adoption Month and November 19th was National Adoption Day. But here locally, how many children do we have in the pipeline that need to be adopted?
So at any given point in time, we have about 50 kids who are available for adoption who don't have an available family. So those kids we're actively recruiting for.
When people come in to consider adoption, what are some things that your organization look at to say, okay, you qualify to adopt?
Okay. Well, first of all, they have to be able to pass background screens. They have to have a stable living arrangement, stable housing, finances. In addition to that, they'll have to have the ability to care for the kids. They have to be loving and willing to spend the time to bond with these children, get to know them, help them through the traumatic experiences that they've been through.
Now, the children who are now waiting to be adopted, where are they physically located now? Where do they reside?
Okay, so these children, majority of them reside in licensed foster homes in and around the counties that we serve, to include Lee, Charlotte, Collier, Hendry, and Glaze counties.
What made you decide to adopt?
Oh gosh, we've wanted to adopt. It's just a calling on our hearts, and we just couldn't get away from it. Just the idea of being able to bring someone who may have had a rough beginning and teaching them that their beginning doesn't have to dictate their future, and just love them and do everything we can to bring them back into wholeness.
Take me behind the scenes when you're sitting around with your neighbors, your friends, your family, and they know that you have adopted. What are some of their reactions when they realize you've adopted 5 children?
Shock and awe, mostly, when they see us roll in our van and our 5 children burst out of the doors. We don't do anything small or quiet, but mostly we get a few looks here and there, but mostly people are just amazed by our kids because they're absolutely lovely.
Describe your family, your adopted children. You're like boys, girls, ages, and so on.
Right. Our 5 children, Ben is 8, Jasmine is 7, David is 5, and then the twins, Judah is 4, and Annika, his twin sister, is also 4.
I know you mentioned off camera that you had one child that had a disability or something to that effect.
Yeah, my 2 eldest children have physical disabilities and require a lot of therapy, and my youngest son, it's actually, he has a tracheotomy and he has a heap of respiratory problems amongst other things, and this is our 1-year anniversary of him being admitted into a hospital when he stopped breathing.
Okay, so in theory, when you, not in theory, in practicality, when you adopted these children, you knew what their limitations were, yet you still chose to adopt. Tell us about that introspective process.
Oh gosh. We're crazy enough to say yes, and we know that we have a great support system. Our family's great. We have people like Teana cheering us on, and we have a great community that we live in, and they're able to help us provide for the kids and get everything they need.
Right, and I know you didn't adopt to be in the spotlight and be celebrated, but I mean, you're actually a hero.
Oh gosh, no, my kids are my heroes.
Okay. Oh, when you hear stories like that and you have people who are in the system who work with you like she does, what does that do for you personally? How does it make you feel personally?
I'm just ecstatic that we have an adoptive parent like Jessica who's willing to see the kids that we have available, the special needs that they have, and still, are willing to come in and say, hey, I'm interested, I want to go full force ahead with this and adopt these kids. And it makes us feel good.
Mm-hmm. When we look at the pool of children who are in this system, do many of them have special needs?
Well, all of our children that we have that are available for adoption, they're all considered to be special needs kids. And this is based on, they could be their medical status, their emotional needs, if they have siblings and need to be placed together with their siblings, that all allows them to be special needs kids. Or even if they're older than the age of 8. So it's not necessarily that they may have a medical need that alone qualifies them for special needs. All of those factors will allow them to be considered special needs.
What are some things that you as an agency do to help people like Jessica and what they're doing? Well,
when you're an adoptive parent, we allow you, or better yet, you have certain benefits that are available to you. There is an post-adoption worker, so after the adoption has finalized, they have that person, and she doesn't necessarily come out to them on a monthly basis, but that person is there and available to them to, if they need any services, they can help them navigate, the services and ensure that these kids have what they need. These kids who are adopted qualify for a tuition waiver, and so they have free college until they're 28 for Florida public school. In addition to that, they get Medicaid until they're 18, as well as an adoption subsidy. So it's a stipend that's provided to the families to help offset some of the costs for adopting the kids, and that's until the child's 18 as well.
Okay. Jessica, make a final point on encouraging people to adopt or certainly consider adopting.
Oh gosh. Just do it. If they've ever considered adopting, just do it. It's a risk, definitely, because sometimes kids are a bit broken, but it's so worth it.
The reward certainly is better than the risk, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, ladies, it's been a pleasure having you here on the show as ladies dominate Leap Pitch Live today. Keep up the good work.
And thank you for having us.
Jay, stay right there.